Hi everybody. So here we have 3 editions, 2 vintage from the 1970s or early part of the 1970s, and this is the most recent 2017 or 2016, I can't remember, AGM-Urania, Terror of AE weights. I consider these to be reproduction based on Pam-A from 1909 to 1920, and so these are the only ones I have of the Rider-Waite-Smith reproduction of that particular version. I have another one here which I believe is based on Pam, maybe C, not sure, but this is copyrighted by, it has a US game copyright, and this is where the original quote-unquote the rather blotchy line, so it's that version. So I don't see any value in comparing these guys with this one here, so I'll put that aside and stick to the reproduction, or what I believe or what I've concluded for myself to be a reproduction based on Pam-A. So this one here is 1971 Rider&Co London, printed by AGMuller of Switzerland. This one here is early 1970s US games, printed by AGMuller of Switzerland, packaged for the Italian market. This one here is AGM-Urania, printed in Germany. AGM, I believe, is AGMuller, or what was AGMuller, and I think they've been merged with Urania, and they are based in the German-speaking part of Switzerland, Belgium, and this deck is printed in Germany, I believe. So Switzerland, Germany, London Publishing House, US Publishing House, packaged for the Italian market, and AGM-Urania is in both Belgium and Switzerland. So I'm going to be comparing majors only, and these from left to right are the cards from, so I'll leave these boxes here for you as a reference point. This one is this one, the middle one is this one, and this one is what I believe to be the earliest, if not the same as this one here. We can only know that this was packed late in late 70s, however there is no copyright, so this one here would have been printed, even though it's packed later on in the 70s, these cards would have been printed earlier on in the 70s because there's no copyright on the cards. So first, in terms of feel, as I mentioned in my first impression of this particular deck here, this one here feels a little bit more smooth, this one here feels a bit more naked. So in that sense, it's a bit more, this one here feels a bit more like rubber, like velvet. There are some, not a lot, but there's some books, quite a few books has a cover that feels like velvet, and a few of them are actually tarot handbook, like the Shadowscape handbook, which Tom Benjamin gifted me, kindly gifted me. The top has that kind of a velvety feel to it, while this one here is a bit more wax, that smooth of wax. This one is the smoothness of rubberized velvety surface, and this one here of course is very, very sleek. It's the sleekest. This one here is like high sheen, not glossy, like wax as well, but the consistency of the cardstock, this one is really dense. These two, the cardstock feels a little bit more fluffy and porous, not saying that they are, but in the hand it feels that way. And so we quickly look. This one here, AGM-Urania, is a bit more brown, the face. Those two are quite pink, and the yellow is a bit more orangey in the middle, which is this one here. Early 70s US games. This one here is the yellowest. This one here is the most orange, and that's in the middle. Quite consistently, this one has the most orange undertone, this one has the most yellow undertone, and that one there is in the middle. The skin color here is more yellow, That is the most brown with a reddish undertone, and that is in the middle. This has the red blotchiness, AGM-Urania 2017, printed in Germany. The blue is more blue here, it's a bit more washed out in the middle. But it looks almost as if you can see the brush stroke with the AGM-Urania 2017. You don't see that sense of a watercolor texturing so much on the two early 70s edition. Similarly here, it has an orangey undertone in the middle, the middle edition. AGM-Urania from 2017 is the most yellow. This one is the most reddish orangey. That one's in the middle. And again, it feels as if the AGM-Urania 2017 on the right here is highly defined. Oh, it has high definition. Or it feels almost as if it has the highest definition. Look at the etching on the pillow, for example. The face is the most yellow, not as warm. The warmest is in the middle, and that's quite consistent throughout so far. So here, this is more red in the background, and the Emperor is the most blotchy here as well. There's a lot of red blotches there. The background here is most red, that's in the middle. This time, this one here, which has been, usually this one here is in the middle in terms of color range. Just looking at the background of the Emperor here, this feels like the most pale. So it's this one here, that one there. But all in all, I think they seem pretty, the differences are very minute, and I love them all the same. And if you can grab a hold of the AGM-Urania, just looking at this so far, I think AGM-Urania from 2017, unfortunately with that pixie script there, is actually a rather well done reproduction. So his skin tone's the warmest here in the middle. The early US games, early 70s, packed for the Italian market, 1971 Rider&Co blue box, and AGM-Urania 2017 here. The yellow is in the face, but his robe is more red, a lot warmer than these two. The faces are a bit blotchy on the early 70s editions here. But they're very comparable in terms of image quality and image reproduction quality, I mean. Again, the AGM-Urania 2017 here. It's very crisp. The robe of the angel here a bit more red yellow undertone. This one is very lilac, purple sort of on the lilac side. This one here is purple on the violet side, so this one has a more blue undertone, this one has a more red undertone. This one here has a more yellow undertone in terms of the purplish color robe of the angel. Skin or flesh colors there is most yellow on the AGM-Urania on the right there. In the middle is early 70s US Games, and on the left is Rider&Co 1971. Again, it's almost as if this one here is higher, is high def HD. You can see all those little blotches there. It's a bit more smoothen up around here. This one's a bit more pinkish in tone, that one's a bit more yellowish. Warmest, middle, yellowest. But the blue's more intense here. Is the lightest here and mid-ground blue over there. So it's interesting to look at the script. I don't know, I can't really tell the difference, and if there are any differences, it's so minute that I personally don't really care. So Rider&Co on the left, early 70s, pre-copyright US Games in the middle, and AGM-Urania 2017-16 on the right. So I am using this one here as proxy for US Games early 70s pre-copyright, and so I will call this one here US Games early 70s pre-copyright. I do not collect ones with copyright. The ones that I have, I believe, is the Centennial and the Albino Weight are the only two, and this is way before I started getting interested in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and the Albino Weight was a mistake because it wasn't described accurately. Again, darkest, middle ground, the yellowest, but you look at the shadowing here, it looks as if it just feels more higher definition. It's almost, you can see somebody's brushstroke almost, and over here it's a lot more, oops, excuse me, look at the face there. There's a bit of blotchiness on AGM-Urania's here. US Games early 70s in the middle, and Rider&Co early 70s on the left. These are both printed by AGMuller of Switzerland. Note the gray shadows on her clothing there compared to this one here. So these are very similar. The only differences really are the color tones, the skin tones. Again, definitions more defined in the AGM-Urania on the right. the blue background appears the bluest here, or the gray. It appears the darkest gray here, almost greenish. This is somewhere in between. The gray color of the robe of the hermit feels like a little bit more textured there, like you can see brush strokes. Again, that's a running theme. This one's more solid, these two. Skin tones, the most yellow, the warmest middle ground. It has some red patches on AGM there. It's like the red and the yellow is not mixing properly, while here the red and yellow look like almost as if there is a layer of red on top of that yellow. If you look at the hand and the face there, this is darker than that. And this is darkest towards sort of yellow-green undertone, look very much like gray. This one looks blue, light blue almost. This one somewhere in between, like light gray and light blue mixed into one. The bluest background on the left, middle ground in the middle, and then the lightest blue background on the right. 2016 or 2017, I can't remember. The two on the left are from the early 70s by AGMuller of Switzerland. So those are 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Look at the texture on the clouds. Again, very much more defined on AGM-Urania's version here, the modern version. Sadly without Pixie script. You can see the blue and the orange. This is the strongest orange. This has the most yellow undertone. This one's in the middle, and that's quite consistent with the other cards. Again, looking at the texturing on the clouds there. You see the curtain behind the Justice there, very red on AGM-Urania's modern version on the right, and purplish with red undertone in the middle, and then purplish with more blue undertone, colder purplish color on the left. Skin color or skin tone, again consistent throughout, very, very yellow, relatively speaking, on the AGM-Urania's edition here. Warm in the early USG, early 70s, pre-copyright US games there. And middle ground, Rider&Co. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but again, remember that these two are printed by the same people, AGMuller of Switzerland. temperature has dropped here and my fingers are really cold, so focusing by tapping onto the screen has become a bit clunky, as it doesn't look like they can detect my finger. So we'll look at the skeletons. This is the brightest, lightest middle brown. Again, AGM-Urania on the right there, you can see those little texturing on the clothing, on the grey shadows, a bit more warm taupe. The grey on the other two vintage early 70s, a bit more colder. The one from AGM-Urania on the right there is a bit warmer. Because these two are from the same printer and from the same period, early 70s, you can see that they're more similar to each other. Very similar, other than tone of colors, especially the skin tones, skin colors, flesh ones. They're very, very similar. This just feels, if you look at the shading at the bottom of the tower there compared to the vintage early 70s ones, the two on the right, or left, sorry, your left. So this just blue, a bit more blue, a little bit, and this appears to be very, very grey. Okay, I haven't, missing the world card there. It's not missing, but I think it's in the box because I've seen it. Hold on a second. That's it, folks. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.